Hey, so I want to take you through how to loop Satellite. I've arranged it specifically for a multi-track looper here. There's obviously much simpler arrangements you could do, but I have a whole lot going on because I'm also trying to do percussion. So let me take you through the pieces of that. So there's three main pieces of the song: verse, chorus, and bridge. And the RC300 is a really good looper for that because I've got three separate tracks, and I have those set up to play in single track mode, and I'll show that in a minute. So the verse is obviously that, chorus, A, D, B minor, and E, and I'm tuned to half step flat. And then the bridge, the other thing that we're juggling is two different time signatures. So the verses are in 12/8, which is unusual, and the chorus and the bridge are in 6/8. So I needed to find a way to handle both of those in the looper. Obviously, the percussion is going to change, and the whole feel of the song changes as well. So that was kind of tricky. So I decided to build up the song with just the verse, just the original guitar part, because I like how that sounds solo. And then I added the beatbox the second time around. But always when I'm looping, I'm trying to minimize how many repetitions you have, because it gets really fatiguing for an audience to hear. You want to build up loops as quick as possible. So what I did in this case is I record the backing for the verse, the chorus, and the bridge up front. I stack them all up at the beginning of the song, and then I flesh them out and I add more and play live over them later. With the chorus and the bridge, I decided to beatbox them and play the guitar at the same time, which is something I never do. In the RC300, all the inputs get mixed, and they always get recorded together, so you can't record one but not record another. Sometimes for coordination, I just can't do the beatbox and play at the same time. This time for the chorus and the bridge, I was able to, and that saves a bunch of repetition there. But when I've got the bridge finished, then I jump right back into the beginning of the song, and that's sort of where I pick up from the album version. So for the verses, in addition to the main riff and the beatbox, I'm playing Tim Reynolds' parts live, and that gives me the most flexibility. It gives a kind of a natural sound. I can bring it in and out when I want. There's two main pieces to that. There's the and then there's the harmony, which is, I guess, actually probably what the violin and the horn are doing. And I'm used to playing it in that fingering because I used to do an arrangement where I play it all solo live, which was like this. But here I'm actually breaking it up into pieces. So for the chorus, I'm just playing the bass, not even the real bass part, just something much more simple, just the root of the chord. So maybe something just like that. It adds a little bit, fleshes it out, but it's simple enough that I can sing it and play it at the same time. For the bridge, I wanted to do something a little more special because there is that cool horn part. So on top of this sequence, there's this ascending riff. And actually, they play that in harmony. So I'm not going for the harmony. You can actually do it with sliding thirds. It's just really hard to get to and reproduce it cleanly, so I didn't bother this time. But I add that in underneath the existing chord progression, and that fleshes it out a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about the pedal setup. I'll start with the vocals. So I've got a TC Helicon Play Acoustic here, and I've got that set up for a harmony. So under vocal effects, got it down 6 dB. I don't want it too loud. I've got high style, which is a third above. And then, as I said, I tune the guitar half step flat, which is why it's G sharp instead of A. So I've got that mapped to the hit button, and I can just toggle that. So I'm using that during the chorus and the bridge. So figuring out the looping for the RC300 was really the big challenge on this. The first thing was pretty obvious, which was I was going to be in single track mode. So I'm using all three tracks, right? So that's track one. It's the main riff plus the beatbox, chorus. So it's just the chords and a beatbox, and track 3 is the bridge. So everything else is played live on top of that. Normally, I would use the loop end setting, but in this case, they actually come back from the bridge one bar early. So if I was using loop end, it would queue it up and it would run too long. So I actually have to set it to immediate, and then I just have to be very precise about when I change tracks. So that was the first part. The next was going into the individual track presets. These were actually set to auto. It only did 4 because I've still got the data in here. Then I had to set loop sync off and tempo sync off to all of these. And that's because I'm totally ignoring the 4/4 that it thinks we're in, and the lengths are not all going to be exactly the same either, because my tempo is bound to be a little bit off. The other thing that I had to set up was actually in the system menu, which is setting the record mode to go directly into overdub. So almost always I use record into play, and this time I need it to go into overdub because on the intro riff, I want to come in immediately. I need to define the length of the first loop, and I need to come in immediately with that kick drum on the overdub. So I don't have time to take it out. So that's kind of unusual, but because it's in the system menu, I would have to change this every time before playing this song, and I'd have to change it back every time after. So it's kind of a shame that's not per track. So that's basically it. It took me 9 takes to get a version that I was happy with. I only got through the whole song twice, actually. My whole goal is to record everything live, 1 take, no overdubs, no edits, nothing pre-recorded. That's just the challenge that I set out for myself. And yeah, sometimes it takes 9 tries.